Hopefully everyone can hear us now. We are live. We are live. And it looks like we have audio. So we apologize. We were having a few technical difficulties, and we needed to get the microphone sorted out so that you could actually hear us. But no one's here yet. Okay. Papa's there. We're live. Okay, hello. Let's go ahead and we can share this link now.
That will go to everybody.
I'm going to send it to Steve, and then he can send it out to people.
Okay, there they are.
Hey. Can you hear us? Oh, perfect. Michelle says that she can hear us. Good. We were having a little bit of technical difficulties, so we had to get the microphone up and running. But now we should be set. I'm just sending this link out, and then we should be good to go. Okay, that's taking forever, so we're gonna, okay, there we go.
Okay.
So I have a special guest here. This is my mother-in-law for intensive purposes, my boyfriend's mom. And today we are going to be doing Michelle Osgood from here on YouTube. She has a mom tag on her channel. And we're going to go through and have Julie answer some of those questions for us. She's been so gracious. Hi, Kimmy. Hi, Health and Beauty. Hi, Rafa. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Kimmy.
So this is Michelle's first time on YouTube. She was really kind and willing to come on board, and we are definitely going to take advantage and ask her all these questions. So I do have a list of these questions here on my phone, and we're just going to go through them to kind of celebrate Mother's Day in general. And we have 20 questions. We're going to see how far we can get through them. We will see how long this little man lasts. But first question, how old were you when you had your first child?
22.
22.
And by the way, happy Mother's Day to you all.
So a little bit of background on Julie. She is a biological mom of 2, and then she does have one inherited daughter as well.
My bonus girl.
So she's a mom of 3. So we're going to be talking kind of about all 3 of them along the way.
Hi, Lauren.
Hey, Lauren. So what was the hardest thing about being pregnant for 9 months?
I had the super weight gain. I gained 80 pounds.
That sounds about me.
Yep, went over 200. And that's a lot to carry. Did well though. Didn't have any issues till the end. I had toxemia with the first one, which is now called preeclampsia. Ended up having a C-section, and like an emergency C-section, but it was a 3-day labor. I ended up in Green Bay. Then they sent me back to Manitowoc, and I didn't see her till the day after she was born. So it was, now you get to hold them right away and all that. And, the fathers weren't in the room.
Oh, really? When you had your C-section, you just nurses and doctors?
Yeah, even if you had it, I think even if you delivered normal, they weren't in the room yet.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, you're Michelle's all alone. Hi, Michelle. There's one of my daughters.
So what about when you had Steve?
Steve I knew what to expect. I knew I was going to, and Michelle also was breech, which made the C-section come.
That's scary.
They made me go through labor hoping she would turn, but the stubborn Michelle. Anyway. Steve, I knew what to expect. We scheduled, we could schedule a C-section then. It was like 2 weeks before I was due. And so that went pretty good. I mean, that, I knew what to expect, and there was no, it was just a surgery. So, but it's just not a bonding experience
Because
to
you can't
have.
hold them right away. And
Yeah,
everything.
because you're put out then. You didn't have a live surgery, you know.
It's really scary.
Yeah, so
And to have to do it all by yourself, that doesn't sound fun at
yeah,
all.
you were by yourself.
That's insane. So, can you think of any good things that you really enjoyed during your 9 months of pregnancy?
Eating.
Michelle's awesome. And I can vouch for that.
Oh, it was pretty much just eating. It's like, wow, you're hungry and you just eat because you're eating for two, remember?
So, did you have any specific cravings then, since you really enjoyed food?
I think I had a craving for hot dogs, and then I think I ate too many and got sick, and I had a really hard time eating hot dogs again. I don't really remember cravings too much. I mean, I remember cravings because obviously I was eating all the time. Yeah.
Health and Beauty says eating and drinking water. I was definitely always thirsty when I was pregnant. Were you really?
I don't remember that. Water wasn't a huge thing back then. No.
You just drink whatever.
You didn't carry water bottles. You just, it was probably beer. We lived in Wisconsin. No.
You told me you craved Whoppers from Burger King. Michelle
True.
says.
Oh, Michelle did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No.
Are you answering questions?
Yeah, she's not a junk food junkie. So Whoppers is big for Michelle.
I think she's saying that you
told me you crave Whoppers from Burger King.
when you were pregnant with
Burger
her.
King, I don't even think was open yet. I don't even remember. I don't know. Maybe I don't remember everything.
Okay. So the best memory about being pregnant was eating everything you wanted to eat.
Pretty much.
Valid. So what was so everything that you heard about childbirth, was what you heard what actually ended up being accurate, or was it
no,
less accurate?
I was expecting to deliver normally.
Naturally.
So yeah, nothing was what I thought. So it was a little scary.
Did you hear anything about C-sections or have any friends or anything that had
No.
C-sections before you?
No, I was the first one out of our group of girlfriends I was the first one to get married, first one to have babies. So I didn't really have anything but my mom, and I was the older sister too. I had 3 older brothers, but I came from a large family. I always had kids in my lap, and
Crazy.
I knew how to do that part, but I didn't know how to deliver too well.
Well, I don't think that most people can really prepare for
I don't
emergency
think so.
C-section and 3 days of labor and
Yeah, you're
babies.
22
Hi,
years old.
Isabel.
You don't know what's going on really. It's kind of scary, but
Sounds well.
everybody was healthy.
That's the important
Yeah.
thing. At the end of the day, as long as everyone was happy and healthy, that's what's important. Okay. Now, what was the hardest thing for you about making the transition to being a mom?
I wasn't grown up yet. I was still we were still as all as couples. Yeah, we were married real young. All of us. That's just what we did. We went from high school, got married, all had jobs. You know, we had all these big companies here, and everybody got their jobs. Oh, you poor thing. Now I forgot my train of thought when I'm thinking of him.
Cute little yawn. The hardest thing about when you became a mom. So not the hardest thing while you were pregnant, but once you became a mom, what was the hardest thing?
Probably no sleep.
Yeah.
My husband at the time, I think, was on 3rd shift too. So he would sleep during the day and work at night. So I was kind of alone too on that.
Munchkin has to go to sleep, so he's gonna leave us from the live right now.
Okay.
I think the hardest thing about becoming a mom is probably the fact that like you are on someone else's schedule. Because I think for me, like I like to be scheduled, and that's something that I really crave and thrive. But you can't really dictate, especially in the beginning, like what's going to happen. So on top of being like tired, it's the fact that you have no schedule and you have to do whatever the baby wants to do, basically.
And I really think you just, having all the knowledge even before still isn't enough of the feelings that come through you, the just, some days you just break down. Some days you're like, this is the best. And, you have all those feelings going through you. You can know everything. But
hormones is probably the best answer.
Probably hormones.
Isabel said you don't realize
Thank you.
what tired is until you become a parent.
Mm-hmm.
And that is so true.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, hormones. I think that's probably the major difference between like the guy in the relationship and the female in the relationship, because you just went through a traumatic experience, especially because you went through a major surgery. I mean, vaginal delivery is a major surgery, but then a C-section, like that's a huge one. And when it's an emergency, so you weren't even expecting it. So
yeah, they didn't have little cuts like this. Mine went from the belly button down.
Yeah, that's
and so and then having that much weight, I put on that much weight and I had this jiggly belly. I remember that pain.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to hold, your stomach tight, and it was that I remember.
That was like, I felt like before I gave birth, I was a balloon that was about to pop because my son was ripping my abdominal walls apart, and that's honestly how I felt. Like I was a balloon that was literally on the verge of rupturing. It was so scary. And then as soon as you deliver, you're like a deflated balloon.
Yeah. Deflated, all right. Yep.
Yep. Now they have things for that. You can wear like belly bands, and they're like corsets for your belly bands, for your bellies. Okay. I didn't number our questions. I should have numbered our questions because it would have been a lot better. But for anyone that just joined, we are doing the mom tag from Michelle Osgood's channel. When this actually goes live and gets published, I'm going to leave her video linked in the description box. So you should go and check out her channel because she has a lot of great answers. And she'll kind of be a great one kind of in between us because I am a first-time mom. This is actually my first Mother's Day. And I thought that would be super fun to bring my mother-in-law on. She's a mom of 3. And they're all older. They've all had kids of their own. So now you're a grandma. So it's kind of nice to see kind of both of those sides of the spectrum. And then Michelle, she has, I believe, a 11-year-old and a 7-year-old. I'm probably getting those ages wrong, but she would be like kind of in the middle of us, which would be interesting to watch as well. Okay. What would you have? Okay, so if you could go back and change anything about your childbirth experience, would you have done anything differently?
No, I don't think I would have done anything differently. I think I would have waited until I felt a little more mature. I was still liking going out to the bars.
So there you go. Ashley is, so Michelle's 2 are 11 and 6. So I was close, Michelle. Not quite there, but I was close. I'm one of the kids.
You're one of the grandkids.
She is. Sorry, I just tapped the mic with my water. I'm sorry if that echoed. So you wouldn't go back and change the fact that you had a C-section or emergency C-section?
No. Well, I mean, yeah, it would have been nicer, but I mean, that was just
how it went.
Yeah, because it was just, it might have went a whole different way. So I can't change that. Everything was healthy. Everybody was healthy. So, and I healed. Mm-hmm. And it's just,
got over it. Mm-hmm. I personally, I've only had one son, but I was induced, and it was a scheduled induction. And the day, I was so ready for him to come out until the day of. And then that morning I was like, is this the right decision? Should I be going and getting induced? Because that's scary because I'm doing an eviction. And then what if he's actually not ready to come out? And like, we have all of this complications and everything. But honestly, I loved my childbirth. I'm really happy that I got induced because going through the induction, I didn't realize that I was even in labor that entire morning.
Right.
So I was like 47-ish minutes away from the hospital where I delivered. So I'm like, well, I'm scared I'm not going to make it to the hospital. And honestly, I probably wouldn't have because I don't think I would have realized I was in labor until it was like, he's coming. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy that I got induced. Although I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to other people.
One good thing about this, with having the C-sections and not having my 2 normal, well, then with my bonus daughter, she allowed me in the room when she had her kids. And that's the first time that was very touching, not to being part of that and seeing a natural childbirth
Yeah.
and feeling like I was part of it. And so then when you invited me in, I knew what to expect, and it was just so special just to see that. And you are a rock star too.
So I can just sit back and enjoy it.
Yeah, it was, because I kind of knew, what you were going through, and we just sat there quietly and just waited for you to do your thing, and you were a rock star on that one.
That was like, they're like, are you feeling the urge to push? I was like, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know.
You'll feel it.
Like, you'll feel it. I'm like, I don't know what I feel. I just feel like I'm in a lot of pain right now. So maybe. So that's interesting. So you got to observe multiple births. So, and those were all natural births.
Mm-hmm.
So, and even still, having seen like natural birth and a C-section, and kind of experiencing the C-section and then seeing the natural births, you would still not change anything about yours?
Yeah, well, probably not. I mean, it would be nice if you could have people in there with you, but
Yeah.
that wasn't the way it was back then. You didn't have people in there. You were alone during childbirth.
That's so sad.
It was sad.
That's
Now
really
that you
sad.
think of it, you didn't think of it back then. You just
Because it was
thought, well, this is
normal.
what the mother does.
Yeah.
But when you think of it, you were alone
That is really sad.
with the whole thing. They just sat in the waiting room could be a whole day and not see you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then
Or hold your hand or anything like you have.
Yeah.
You have that support, and that I didn't have.
that's
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I'm sure all the other grandmas know too.
See, it's always so interesting when we go through these questions, because we've talked about different things kind of along the way, but it's always interesting to see how things were when you gave birth versus like how different they are now when we
Very
end up giving
different.
birth. So what would be your advice to someone who is going to have a baby or about to have a baby now? So maybe advice for pregnancy, and then advice for like motherhood in general.
Pregnancy is exciting for women because it's the unknown. No, it's exciting. It's the unknown. It's scary. It's how do you explain it?
I'd want the man in there to grow my nails
Kimmy.
out and help him experience it a little.
Oh, Kimmy. My niece. People. You need people in there with you. But we were talking about that. What was the other question?
So your advice for someone that's pregnant, and then your advice for someone who is a current mother or about to be a mother.
Just take it all in, because it goes fast. It seems like when you're in pregnant, it's never going to come out. All of a sudden it's there, and then they're graduating. I mean, really, it goes that fast, because through those years, all you're doing is remodeling your house, or adding on, or sending them here, through all of a sudden, the life is crazy now. It's crazy and crazy. It goes crazy till they leave. And then, I mean, I enjoy grandma. That is I think I was better at grandma than a mom. My patience, I think, when you're young, isn't there as much. Well, you're more mature than I was.
That kind of leads into the next one. What is the hardest thing, or what was the hardest thing about becoming a mom, or being a mom in general?
I was young. I was too young.
Being too young.
But I'm glad I was young, because now I'm a young grandma.
Yeah.
So, and I got the stamina. I hope for it.
So what was on the opposite end, what was the most rewarding thing about being a mom?
Michelle, Stephen, and Annie. I got great. The three of them are great. Couldn't ask for better. I mean, really, I would have never thought I would have had that great of kids. Really.
Yeah.
Because when they go through that teenage years and stuff, and they hate you.
They
hate you you wonder if they're ever going to like you again. But now they're all getting it. They all have their own children.
So they always talk about how your teenage daughters, they go through that spell where they absolutely just hate their parents.
I wish Michelle was here for that one.
I don't know if she's still watching.
Are you still watching? There's quite a few on here that might remember those days.
But you had a son as well. So did you feel like he also went through the I hate my parents stage? Because they always talk about your daughters.
I don't think Stephen did.
But do sons go through that?
Well, he never told me like Michelle would. I don't think, I don't think Michelle ever told me she hated me either. Surprise.
He says, I'm not a mom and probably won't be till I'm mid-30s. That's the plan. I have a question. I would never want to know what I am what I'm having till they come out. Would you two rather know what you're having or not? So that isn't on this list.
Yes, that's a very good question.
So Kimmy's asking if we would want to know the gender of our baby before we deliver.
Well, nowadays, because you have to plan so much, maybe. But back then, it was no big deal. They guessed, the doctor was always
you did not know what you were having.
No, they just felt your belly and said, "Oh, you're holding it high.
It's a huge one. It's a boy."
Or you're holding it low. It's a boy. I don't remember how it was, but I don't even know if what they predicted was even correct. Actually, I don't remember, but I had no idea what we were getting. So everything is just pretty much sleepers you had, just basic sleepers. You didn't buy pink, blue dresses, nothing. You just had the basic clothes, but you didn't take your kid out like you did now.
Now, so if you had the choice, would you have liked to know the gender of the baby?
I probably would.
I found out the gender of our baby at 12 weeks. So pretty early on, there's a blood test that you could take, and we did some genetic screening, and then we found out the gender. I wish I could be the person who didn't and could go through the pregnancy and be surprised that day, but I can't. Going back to being a planner, especially when you're convinced that your second was a girl and you're buying pink things. Yeah, I mean, with my mom, she talked about how I was supposed to be a boy and my brother was supposed to be a girl, and the doctors were adamant about our genders, and my mom was like, nope. And my mom was right in those instances, but still. That was a good question, Kimmy. Thank you. Okay, most rewarding thing about being a mom. So now, most surprising thing about being a mom. What surprised you the most about being a mom?
The love you have. The love that's inside that you never knew you had. I mean, you love your kid, you love your brothers and sisters and your family and stuff, but it's just a big old, you're just all living. You just put that into, you didn't know you have that love inside of you.
Oops. I'm trying to send her a link out.
You just take me.
I'm just going to send this out to the rest of our family.
Yes, you fall instantly in love. I didn't have that instant because I had to wait that day, but.
So they didn't let you even see
I was out of it. I was out of it for a day. I didn't even wake up till the next day. So I had no clue I even had the baby, really, when you wake up and you're like, I have the baby.
Like, is this a dream or is this real?
So when they woke up, and I just still didn't have her in the room.
And you just texted you the link, so if you wanted to send
and you didn't get to keep the baby in the room then either. They just brought you in to feed.
That's interesting.
And then they put them back in the nursery. And then everybody would come visit. They'd go see the baby in the nursery, and then they'd visit you in your room.
I didn't know that. Yep. That's insane. You didn't even get a choice if you wanted to have your baby.
We didn't have choices. It was just the way it was done.
That's so crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sending out my link because I forgot to send it to some people.
Yeah.
If anyone else has questions, feel free to pop them in because we could easily answer those as well.
I wanted to let everybody know. I mean, most of you girls probably remember, but just the different things. Cloth diapers, pins, and plastic pants.
What are plastic pants for?
So you can hold your kid when they have wet diapers. Because you have cloth diapers.
So you put the cloth diaper on and then you put the plastic pants over it?
There was plastic pins. You had the big safety pins that could come out and stab them, which they did.
Like punctured them?
Sure.
That's really scary.
That's how safety it was. That's how they came with safety pins. There was no safety about it. If you had it done the wrong way, they're going to get stabbed.
That's scary. That's scary.
So that was kind of disgusting dealing with that. That was.
Yeah.
And back then I hung them all out on the line because they used to say that the sun would sanitize the diapers. Now, I don't know if that's true, but that's what I was told. So I would always, and then if you got too much bleach when you're trying to clean them and sanitize them, it would burn their butt. So you really,
think about,
and you think 22 years old and you're trying to figure all this out,
Poor Michelle.
Michelle.
She was the trial baby because she was the first one.
Oh.
Hi, Styled by Linda. Thank you for being here. I agree, Michelle. There isn't a love deeper than a mother and a child.
Yeah.
I think that some of the like most special relationships, I think that you can't replace the relationship that you have with your siblings. That is something that you just can't replace.
Mhm.
And then obviously you with your parents, like that's a relationship you can't replace. But then between you and your child, I
Exactly.
think that's a
I
completely
think that's a
different thing.
whole different.
Okay, let's go through each of your children and let's talk about your best memory of you and them
Oh
together.
boy. That's going to be hard. The best memory of each one.
Of each one. We're going to do best memory and then we'll do worst memory. So if you want to go and do each of them, best and worst,
Boy.
you can.
Yeah, I think here. It's a long best memory. I don't know. I know their graduations were cool. I mean, not that they were leaving home, but that they did it.
Yeah.
Those were special. I mean, those
They
were parties. Those were things we celebrated. Just special memories. Memories are different back then than they are now. Memories more are all those things you did together and stuff.
Well, that's good.
But we didn't travel and do things like that back then.
So they were closer.
We didn't have car seats.
But yeah, but here's the thing. A memory can be everything. Michelle says camping trips. But
Yes.
it could be as,
Yes, you're right. We did have awesome camping trips. In a tent, all 5 of us.
that's the way to do it.
But it was like a week of packing before. We would take a little boat and pull it just to put all the bikes in it.
Not to actually go on the lake.
No, there was no lake on our campground. But we had to have something to put all the stuff in because you had 5 people in a car. We didn't have a minivan yet.
Uh-huh.
We didn't have a minivan yet, did we, Michelle?
Were you in a truck? How did you pull a boat?
Bob had a pickup truck then,
Okay.
I think. And then we pulled that and we had the bikes in there. It was a lot of, 5 sleeping bags, 5 pillows, 5. I mean, it was like we're working. So you packed for a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear you unpacked for 2 weeks by the time you washed everything, even if you didn't use it because everything's damp and smelly and you had to wash everything.
Bronco, Michelle says.
Oh, the Bronco.
Does
Red
that
and
sound
white,
right?
right? Wow, you guys do remember a lot more than me.
That would be really interesting to have a mom, like if I was doing this with my mom, to talk about like her best memory and then like my best
Yeah.
memory and see how they're different. We camped once a year as kids and we loved it. I would say that some of my best memories are also camping. But now I feel like camping means so much different. It means something so completely
Mhm.
different than when I was camping because we always did a tent,
Mm-hmm.
lay down the tarp underneath the tent,
Exactly.
and if it was raining, and like
Huddled.
and then you got all the frogs underneath, so you'd have like the lumpy bed when you're
Yeah.
sleeping. But now I feel like when people go camping, they just take out the RV.
Well, they have it kind of nicer than their home.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but they just
They don't pee in a bucket.
and sometimes
They got a flusher.
that's true. And a shower. You don't have to get up in the middle of the night and like think you're gonna die going to the restroom.
Yeah, in the dark.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you got to pee in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much. So I feel like it's just completely different. Hey, happy Mother's Day to you. But I feel like I don't know. I think that there's like great things with both of them because it's so much easier if you have a camper. You can just, especially if you have all your dishes like duplicated,
Yeah.
you can just get in there and you can go more
Clean
often.
it, lock it up, and it's ready to go. But you can't do that with a tent.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have stuff in a box and ready, but you still.
And then you have to let it dry out and sweep it and do everything else.
And in Wisconsin, your summers can be cold, wet
Oh, exactly.
things. So you have warm clothes. It was a lot of work to camp, but we sure did have fun. We went with a lot of our friend couples, which made it really fun.
So we never had like a group of a lot of different families that went. We had a couple of friends that like we would go camping on their land,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just pretty much just us and then them.
Mm-hmm.
But we never had like we're all gonna go to this campground and everyone's going to rent a plot. We never.
No, yeah, we had like 5 to 7 couples, I would say, guys, whoever went with us, that we would go. Yep, we'd all
There's
meet.
Dale. You can always pee in a bucket and dump it over.
The side. He remembers I did that. I peed in a bucket inside the tent, and I couldn't leave it in the tent, obviously. So I opened the zipper and I go like this, and it went right back on the tent. The pee.
Oh, goodness.
There's a memory.
That is a memory. So do you
Thanks, Dale.
do you have any other like special memories of each of the kids?
Oh, there's just.
Well, let's go to the worst ones. So what are some of your worst memories? Or some of the terrible things that they did?
They didn't do anything real terrible. It's pretty much, none of them were. Well, Michelle was arrested a few times. I should say arrested.
Yeah.
Brought to my front door.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, Michelle. But let's see. And that's part of it too. Coming back from a trip, we later when they got older, we left them alone with mom checking in on them and stuff. We went to, I believe we were in Mexico. Found out before we got on the plane to come home that Michelle had a big party at our house and the cops were there the night before. And here I'm sitting there. I'm going to fly into Milwaukee and we're going to be arrested because she had this party, underage party, and we're going to be arrested because we left them home alone or something. I didn't know. We were just freaking out. But that was one of the memories.
That would be a real big memory if that actually did happen.
And Stephen was there and had to deal with that. The cops coming to the door and he's trying to keep everything quiet, I'm sure, But
that is Steve.
Yeah. Annie wasn't there that weekend, so that's.
I didn't let them in. No one got arrested. That's the key.
That's right.
They
She
can't
didn't let
arrest
him
you
in.
if they can't get you.
Yeah, that's right. They pulled all the shades and didn't answer the door. Oh, jeez.
Who taught them that? Okay, exciting milestones. What are some exciting milestones that you really remember from them growing up? So I'll do one for Grayson. Mine's difficult because my son's not even a year yet, so it's hard to say like your best memory of them because.
Well, it's all those milestones they go through. My kids, I worked full time. I was a single mom for a while through this, so they couldn't be involved in a lot of stuff. So they just kind of did their thing with their friends and stuff. So milestones to me are what they did, as. Like you say,
maybe, them getting their first tooth or them scraping their knee for the first time.
Yeah, all those are pretty much milestones that you can remember, but are any of them that...
Did anything stand out more than the others?
Not right now. Bet you when we hang up, I'll think of a whole bunch of them.
Yep, that's always how it is. I put Julie on the spot. I was about to call you Michelle. I think...
Anyway, kids.
Yeah. Grayson just started going on his little fire truck. What is that called? What is that called?
It's just he has to push it. I don't know what they're called.
I don't know. It's a fire truck that he sits on and then he does his own feet. And he pushes himself along. And he just started doing that all by himself yesterday. And it's crazy. I don't understand how he's able to steer going forward, going backwards, using the horn. He's good at navigating.
Yeah.
He really is. And he's good at driving.
Oh, wait.
Okay. What is the worst thing your child or your children have ever done?
I don't think they did anything really bad. It was just more teenage stuff.
But what's the worst? So let's go to Steve. What is the worst thing that Steve has ever done?
Steve was a pretty good kid.
What was the worst thing? Smoked. Probably.
Okay, they all smoked, but so did I.
Yeah, but did you flick your cigarette butts onto the roof of the house?
No.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
I don't even know if I want to hear some of this stuff my kids did. I'm sure they want to hear stuff I did either.
There was nothing that they did bad because you were blissfully unaware.
Yeah, well. Oh, I feel bad, kids. I'm not thinking very well on these things yet.
The worst thing my son has ever done is projectile poop on me.
Oh, well, that, yeah.
And you just got to see it.
Yeah, well.
But I'm sure there will be other things. Just give him some time.
Yeah.
He only had a few months to be able to do that. Okay, this one should be fun. What is a habit that your child has that you wish they didn't?
Me and Steve bite our nails.
Okay.
And I still have not stopped. And it's disgusting, especially during this time. And
Do you bite your nails out of nervous habits or just because you don't like nails?
I'm sure it is like that, but it's mostly like if I'm driving in a car or I'm just sitting and then I'm realizing I'm doing it. And I notice Steve's the same, like he bites his nails.
Yeah.
Um,
What about Annie?
Annie, my little Annie. Annie, I don't know. Michelle, I don't know. I'm trying to think. What are they? Boy, I'm not too good at this.
I have it. You wish that
I'm
you didn't
making
have.
myself look bad.
Well, I mean, well, let's do the opposite then. What is a habit that they have that you really cherish? Like one that you're most proud of?
Them as a parent. You guys are awesome parents. Steve
is a great dad.
Steve and Michelle and Annie are awesome parents. I could
Lauren
never.
can talk to that.
What did she say?
I said Lauren can speak to that.
I remember that. Oh, it was like
I
a
agree.
fire in a hole. Okay. Michelle, I'm smart. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot that trait.
I think that's
You didn't get that from me.
That's a good one. But I mean, that speaks to you as well because your children and them being great parents, like you can speak to you.
Well,
and you
that's all I could show them because I didn't have an education past. Well, I should say that, but I lived a very sheltered life now that I sprung out in the world. How sheltered it was. It was a very sheltered life in a small town, and you never left and you never went on vacations. You didn't know. We didn't have an interstate to get onto to get to Green Bay in 40 minutes. We did back roads, and that was like going out of the country. It seemed like it was just a forever ride. So you were just in your town. You didn't go over 25 miles an hour. There wasn't a lot there besides a movie theater and some parks. I mean, you just played out in the streets, and it was like that. Street lights, or you get home on time or you're grounded.
Yeah.
Kind of how I grew up. But so they all did so well. When now my kids are.
Yeah, they're good kids. They're good people.
I think I did pretty well on that.
I agree. I think that the parent is a good aspect to really talk about. They're also very independent though too.
Yeah,
I feel like that's
would
really
say
good.
I did more wrong than they did wrong.
Well, I mean,
and I don't want to
every
put
parent
that guilt on me that way, but I know I did wrong more than they did wrong.
I feel like there's no 100% right way to parent or right answer all of the time. And so, happy Mother's Day, thank you. And I think that a lot of people kind of carry guilt around with them for being whatever they did as a parent. I fed them strawberries. I didn't know they were allergic, and they got hives, and now they have a scar. People always have different things that they're gonna carry around. Mm-hmm. But I think that having happy, healthy children are really what could you ask?
And I think I have 3 of them, and they all have great spouses and
great kids. They all have great kids.
They all have great kids. Mm-hmm. I'm lucky. I'm a lucky mom. Grandma's the best.
Okay, so what are some qualities that you share other than nail biting? So what is something that you share with your kids?
We're family oriented. We are family oriented.
I would agree with that.
I try to make sure that we all stay close. And I think they're good on that on their own. That they are probably better at it than me.
You and Michelle are so easy because you're social.
Oh yeah.
Being social, that's something huge that you two share. With Steve.
Yeah, Steve's pretty laid back and more of a loner type. He doesn't need people around him.
Just like me.
Yeah, you two make a good.
Oops, that's not how you heart.
Annie's a big heart.
I feel like Annie's in the middle, where she likes being social, but then us, it's no. And then
yep.
Michelle's
and she's my daughter here, and then I got my daughter there, and we wait for all of us to get together. Hopefully it's going to happen every year now.
We'll see with the
this one we don't know. This one's probably not going to happen this summer.
I'm sure that's the same thing with a lot of people. Also, kind of with people that have vacation saved up, it's when are you even going to use it? Mm-hmm.
And if you have to use it or lose it, some of them.
That's how we are. We have to use it.
Oh,
or
you
lose
do?
it.
You don't get paid? Oh, that sucks.
Nope, it doesn't get paid out. Mom talks too much. So there you go. That's something you have in common. All talking.
Oh.
And Steve only does it when he's at work.
Lauren Claire. I love you.
Okay. Okay. What would you like to be your child? I don't know. That
Give
question,
me an easy one.
I have no idea what I was trying to write, but that makes no sense. We're going to skip that question. Okay, so you kind of already answered this, but was it the right time to have kids? So you would have waited.
Yeah, I would have waited if I was a little older. You know, and a little older, I probably would have wanted them before 25, but, you know, it happened, and I mean, it was great. Everything happened.
What about like the spacing of your kids?
That was perfect. 2 years is perfect.
I'm one of three. Me, my brother, my sister, we're all 2 years. My sister's 2.5 younger. But I think that that's a good age gap because, especially with Annie kind of right in the middle, a little closer to Steve, you have ages that are all going to play together. They're going to hate each other.
You're pregnant while they just started walking.
That's so
you know,
hard though. I can't imagine being pregnant and chasing.
Well, you're not that
around.
huge yet, you know. But when you know that,
we'll see.
Well, I shouldn't say that. I was huge. Anyway.
So, did you gain as much weight with Steve as you did with Michelle?
Probably not, but I was still big. So, you know, I was big already. I never took that weight off. So
it compounded.
Yeah, I just compounded.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the things that I'm most nervous about is because my pregnancy was not the best, most enjoyable experience. I was just very sick and I was completely exhausted. So I'm nervous for having a second baby and you're like trying to chase the first one around and you are so tired. I would sleep like 14 hours a day and I felt like I never slept.
Well, just one thing to tell you, Morgan. You'll always be tired. Even as
just
grandma.
get used to the bags. You'll be tired forever.
When they're off on their own and you're worried about them coming home. If they're going to come home that night, you know, when they leave, it's just, you just don't, sleep is never going to happen.
Okay. Describe your children in one single sentence. And if it's easier, you can pick like a word. Like maybe 3 words or something. So Steve is easy, stubborn.
My fun-loving Michelle.
I like it.
My sweet helper Annie.
For sure.
For sure. My stubborn Steve.
Yeah.
Stubborn, but he would be by my side if I needed him immediately.
Yeah.
And he showed that a lot.
He's an anchor.
He was my anchor through a lot too.
I think that for women,
a mother's son is
different. For a lot of people.
It really is.
I think it's also even more different and probably even more special when you're a single mom.
Yeah.
Because I think that your son, it's just a little bit different because they want to try to protect you and like I feel like they go above and beyond a lot of times.
I wasn't a single mom all the while.
No.
I just had 2 marriages. Had my 2 with my first husband, and then there was like a 3-4 year break when I met my second husband who had my bonus daughter. And so they've been, so I think they were like, you correct me if I'm wrong, 5, 6, and 7 or 4, 5, and 6 when we met. And then we just, that was our part.
Were Annie and Steve in the same grade? Or no?
No. Annie was from Brilliant. Annie still went to Brilliant and she was with us on weekends.
Well, that doesn't mean they were in the same school grade. Did they graduate the same year?
No. So it's just when, it was 3 years in a row. So
that's kind of nice that all your kids are kind of in elementary school together at the same time and then kind of middle school.
And they grew up together. We never used step brothers, sister. It was just, this is my daughter. This is my daughter. In explaining it today, she's my bonus daughter, but she's my daughter. In my heart, Annie's there.
I think like for me, so you didn't have any step brothers or sisters, right?
Nope.
It was all,
yep.
And I didn't either, but like my background's a little bit different because along the way, my dad had some longer term relationships where they also had children, but it was never even like, it was always like your kids, my kids. It was never like blended at all.
Oh, I didn't.
Never.
No, that was never your kids, my kids. At least, I mean, unless it was something, legal or in school or something. This isn't my legal child, but
But that
whatever.
speaks to what you're talking about before with really trying to keep family at the heart of everything and making sure that people knew.
Well, they grew up now together and they're still obviously
connected. Okay. How have you changed since becoming a mom?
Well, you do change. I mean, you have people who, depending on you, to take care of them. I was probably a little selfish being young, but I did okay. I don't even know how to answer that one. Help me. Somebody.
So, what about... Okay. Oh, I know what the other question was. Where would you like to see your children in 10 years from now?
Close to me. Don't move.
You can be doing whatever you want. You can be in jail. You can be in prison. It doesn't matter as long as you are really close to where Julie's living.
Yep.
You could be on death row.
Yeah, but Michelle's out there in Colorado, but I'm used to that because I can go there and visit, which I love, Colorado.
But you could have a child in like the tropics, and then you could have a child in like the tundra, and then you could go and bounce and go everywhere. Like one in the Midwest, one in the tundra, and one in the tropics.
One thing I thought about with that, because it always bothered me, Michelle was so far away and that we weren't, had that, but we all stayed close anyway. And I think it's because of social media. We wouldn't have had that. If I didn't have social media and I couldn't see her and we just talked or wrote letters like you used to have to write letters and stuff, how do you get close? I mean,
with the
like you did when we were young and we wrote a letter to grandma and grandpa who maybe we saw once a year because they didn't live and you didn't travel back then. And I wasn't close to my grandparents because I didn't know them, so
that's a good point.
For this part where we can FaceTime or whatever, my girls here, they're only a half hour from here. It's just our Colorado girls, but we can still talk and communicate now, which is awesome. Didn't have any of that.
Yeah. Well, even like I remember growing up, I lived right next door to my grandma. And then once we moved away from her, it was completely different because we didn't really call on the phone. Like we were young, so we didn't really know how to use a phone. So I don't know if my mom kept in touch and started talking to her on the phone a lot. But we didn't really talk to our grandma. It was just then when we went down for like holidays and stuff and we'd see them. But
no, phones weren't used much.
Well, we have call. You don't even have call waiting at that point.
We had party lines. You had to get on, and you didn't even know who was on because somebody had, somebody else had.
The same shared.
Yeah, you had these shared lines. It was weird.
Yeah, but it was nice for eavesdropping.
Yeah, you did listen once in a while. You had to go real quiet and click it.
Yep. I loved Harriet the Spy when I was younger, so I always liked to pretend I was a spy, going to sleep and stuff, especially on my sister. Carmen, if you're here, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So what else would you like to tell us? We'll probably only be on here for like maybe 10 more minutes.
Oh, gosh.
Some other advice for young parents. Doesn't necessarily need to be about a mom, but...
No. You just know that there's no way you can be a great mom. Great mom. There's no way you're going to be a perfect mom.
Yeah.
But you can always be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much, there was nothing perfect I did about raising kids. You just went with the flow. You didn't know. I came from a large family. I knew a little. I knew what,
Well, that's more than.
And so I babysat a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, I knew how to feed and do diapers and stuff. You don't know the dynamics of personalities, of colics, of not sleeping.
Mm-hmm. Could you imagine having a kid and you didn't grow up in a large family, so you'd never been around babies at all?
No.
At all?
No
infants?
I think I would have really been clueless on everything. That would have been really hard if I didn't have that.
So did you get married right away and then move in together and then have a baby like back to like all within 1 year?
I was married at 19.
Okay.
Baby at 22.
Okay, so there was a little bit of a gap.
Yeah, we were still partying.
Did you know how to cook and clean before you moved out? So it was.
You
moving
think I
out-
would, being from a large family and being the one, but when you didn't come home after school and stuff, there was no food left or anything. You just, it was
There was
just
nothing
like,
to-
yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
It's always so interesting, like hearing other people's stories, and
It's fun to go kind of reminisce too, because now I'm going to think of all the things like, oh, I should have said that.
yeah.
Oh, that was, yeah.
But that's the fun thing about going live, because it completely is unedited. So you don't have a filter. And I think that is really beautiful, and that is very genuine. And I really like that about going live. And it's also interesting because you can hear people, people can talk back to you, which is also fun. And then you got Kimmy's question. Kimmy, when she asked us a
That was a
question.
good question, Kimmy.
That was a good question. So how did you find out that you were pregnant? Were you guys trying to have kids?
No, you waited. You had to wait till you missed your second period.
That was it?
Yeah.
There was no test?
No. A P test when you had to go to the doctor. There was no test
So
to
you
go
just
by.
You wait for 2 months,
Yeah.
and then if you
I'm
still haven't
late.
had anything.
Then they said wait till your second one, then you came in, and then you did. I don't
You're
know if
in.
it was a P test then. I don't remember how they tested then. I would
That's
assume.
crazy, because what if you had an irregular period to begin with?
Yeah, and I didn't. But yeah, you didn't know.
That's intense.
Yeah, so then all of a sudden you just send home pregnant, and you're like, oh, okay, here we go.
Were you guys trying to have kids? Like,
No.
was that the plan? So
Yeah, we were gonna have kids. I guess I wasn't.
trying too hard not to.
Well, the pill back then wasn't very good either.
That's true. That's true.
So I could have been on it. I don't remember. But yeah, I got pregnant, and then it was like, okay, well, we're not gonna just have one. So then we just had the second one. And,
I think that's probably how a lot of people look at it, where it's like, okay, I've had my first child and I want my children to be X amount of years apart or this close or whatever, so that they grow up together and that they do kind of have all of those memories as children. So that first one kind of starts the time for the next one.
And then the second pregnancy, it was like we were getting our house, our first home, and planning that, then you're planning it out.
So how did you decide that you were done having kids?
Well, I divorced, and I always wanted a large family because I came from but it's okay. I'm glad what I got, because then when I met Bob and he had Annie, there was my.
And you didn't have to go through another labor and delivery or pregnancy.
See, she was my bonus girl.
Seems like you get all of the good stuff and all of the perks, but without having to go through all of the pain.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see. When I was growing up, I always wanted to have like 5 to 8 kids.
Mm-hmm.
But then as I became adult, even before getting pregnant, becoming an adult and realizing how expensive that is, I couldn't imagine. Like, especially being the female in the relationship, and for those moms that are like the breadwinners of their family, could you imagine having the financial burden and then also being a mom and then like feeling like you have to continue to work and make that financial contribution and have the kids? That just seems like so much.
Well, when I was pregnant with the second one, then that's when we decided I was just gonna stay home, and then I took my nephew in, who was the same age as Michelle. So then I had baby Steven, and then Michelle and Brad could play, and I stayed home, and that's how I made my money while I was home. But that's hard. That's a long day.
Yes, and you don't get to clock in and out.
No, and I didn't have the fun stuff you got now.
That's true. We have like TV and like
you have all the little babysitting things.
Yeah.
You're here, and then you could run away. No, you didn't run away. You didn't have monitors. You didn't have anything.
That's true. I never thought about that.
No,
How
so
even have a baby
when I
monitor.
put him in for a nap and run outside to hang out with those diapers.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and Stephen locked me out of the house, and I had to call the cops. I'm watching him through the screen door with his little bottle, toddling through the kitchen. I'm like, oh God, I locked my kid in the house.
Was he the only one home?
Where would Michelle have been?
Maybe in school.
Oh, that could be, because he was supposed to be taking a nap. So I'm hanging. No, Michelle went to bed in school because he was too little with a bottle. Maybe it was Michelle was out with me or something. I ended up calling the cops, asked the neighbors, because we don't have cell phones. So I asked the neighbors to call the police. This is how, he's standing there, and they're looking at him and said, okay, he's fine. And what do? They just cut the screen and put their hand through. I was like, oh my God. I was panicking. I could have done that myself.
Yeah, but when you're like
So then you felt like a rotten mom. Then you feel like, the cops had to come. You're not taking care of your kid. You locked them in the house.
My
no, Steven
dad
locked me
locked us
in.
out of the house all the time, and he'd leave one of the windows open in the living
Steven
room.
locked me out. That was it.
Well, my dad would lock us out. And
Because
so
you weren't home in time?
No. He would lock the entire, like all of us out. And so he'd leave one of the living room windows open, like unlocked, and then he would open it and throw me in the window, plop me on, and I'd pop on the couch and go unlock the door.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I have those memories. And I wasn't even in kindergarten yet. But yeah, whenever he'd lock us out, he'd just take the screen off the window, open up the window, and then push me through. It's cold down here, guys.
I don't think it's cold.
I'm freezing. I don't know if we can be down here for too much longer.
What are we on here?
We have been live for 55 minutes and 35 seconds. There are 17 people watching us. And we have 7 thumbs up.
Happy Mother's Day, you all. This has been
real.
really fun.
This is definitely a different Mother's Day.
Yeah, it was really nice.
But it was
I
fun
hope I
to
didn't
share.
get my kids mad at me.
Well, that's why they're not talking.
Maybe.
Steve's watching the baby.
Grandkids stopped talking too?
Yeah, unless this isn't loading. If people are talking, we can't see them. But I think that we should probably get off, huh?
Yeah, I think I
Oh, Steve's making us lunch.
Oh, we're having bourbon chicken, and I guess that's on your
yes.
website too, isn't it?
It is.
Or wait,
it is. Good
is this
point.
a website?
That sounded planned, but that wasn't planned.
That was not planned.
No.
But he was.
We are gonna eat some bourbon chicken, and if you want to see that recipe, that is the video that was uploaded to my channel today. So there will be a.
I didn't plan that.
Yes, there is a link on my channel if you want to go and see that recipe, but it is so
It is
good.
really good. That's one thing he makes good.
Yeah, that's his specialty.
Yeah,
he's
it is. It's
really
good.
good at it. And I really think
I
that
forgot we were having that. No,
well, he takes so much time to like cut the chicken perfect.
I know.
I can't cut the
Well,
chicken
he's a little
perfect.
perfectionist, kind
He
of.
is a perfectionist.
I am not. He
not
didn't get
kind
that
of.
from me. That's from his dad, I think.
Steven's very detail oriented.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel like
not
I
me
only
either.
say Steven instead of Steve when I'm with you guys.
Because I call him Steven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Michelle says Steven, and then I say Stevie too.
Or otherwise it's Stevie.
Yes.
I don't even know if he likes that name.
I think he likes it when you guys do it because it's like nostalgia.
Yeah.
But like for other people to do it, I think he would want to punch them.
Steve.
He
That's my son.
wouldn't, obviously, but
I
I feel
know.
like he would think that. Happy Mother's Day, Verlica. I know that you're in the UK, so you already had one. But I feel like mothers should be able to celebrate every single Mother's Day. We should
Really?
get multiple- Why not?
It ain't not gonna happen, Morgan.
Why not? I feel like we should all be celebrated on all these different days.
But it's not gonna happen, Morgan.
Maybe next year. We'll see. We'll see.
Just not a mom. Oh, happy Mother's Day. That's really cool.
Yeah, this is Julie's first time on the live. We have all of the chats up here on the window so that she can see everything. But
Yeah. See who's all here.
I am going to check one thing. Nope. Okay, well, I think that we are going to head off, and maybe lunch is even done for us, and we're going to enjoy that. But thank you guys so much for sticking with us and watching our mom tag. And thanks, Julie, for answering all of our questions.
You're welcome.
Putting you on the spot.
I got another great daughter-in-law.
I'm a bonus child too. Yay!
Oh, you're a big bonus.
I am big.
I was bigger.
We will be talking to you. Well, I will be talking to you soon. And hopefully Julie will be back for another video.
Oh, really?
And we're going to do her makeup probably.
Going to be a rock star.
I'm not sure.
Oh, I want to do the makeup. I think I need makeup lessons.
We're going to do a makeup tutorial. I have not done anyone else's makeup in a really long time, but we're going to try. Maybe we'll do that live too. We'll see. We'll see. But until next time, we will talk to you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.